Hello, everyone. Welcome to True Life Thoughts Talk. On today's episode, we will be listening to our guest's journey. They have battled some of the hardest life situations anyone can go through in life, and they have taken it on with tremendous strength and love in their hearts. Because their journey is different, I wanted to discuss the topic generalized here today. Our guest has Down syndrome, and he has battled leukemia. His mom is with him here today to support and share their life story. For those of you who don't know, Down syndrome is a genetic disorder caused when abnormal cell division, which results in extra genetic material from chromosome 21. And leukemia is a disease in which the bone marrow and other blood-forming organs produce increased number of immune or abnormal leukocytes. With these thoughts in mind, I want you all to view the perspective of your life compared to others. We are not all the same. We have battled a variety of obstacles in our life, but it's your perspective on your own life that will get you through the highs and through the lows on your journey. With that, we will get this episode of True Life Thoughts Talk started right now. We are live, buddy. All right. Welcome to True Life Thoughts Talk. With me today, I have Miss Renee and Gavin. Pretty cool story, these two. Gavin, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you. Hi, my brother is Kevin. Welcome back. So happy with mommy.
Yeah.
And then super excited. Love that super excited tomorrow.
Yes.
And then the best way Tuesday. And let me put a high school. You say, I love you.
Okay, let me translate that. So at first he said he's excited to tell his brother about this.
Okay.
Then he said he's excited to get a long strap for my work tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Then he
very
said
excited.
that you're his friend from high school.
Yeah.
And then he said he was excited to see you when we got here.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. Welcome. Are you excited? I can tell. And you want to introduce yourself?
And I am Renee, Gavin's mom. Gavin's going to be 18 in November, so he's almost not my baby anymore, about to be an adult.
Wow, good job.
Thanks.
Mommy got play her today.
Yeah. All right. Well, today, we kind of are going to, share his story, share your story as well, because, you guys have shared your lives together. Kind of going, kind of scatter around a lot of it. But you wrote a book.
I did.
Yeah. So you want to tell us about that book?
So Gavin's book, my friend Gavin, talks about having Down syndrome and also talks about him being a leukemia survivor.
Yes.
So the main reason why I wanted to write this book and get it in paperback is so that we could actually visit the oncology floors of hospitals and read it to, families that are there. He spent almost the first 7 years of his life pretty much in and out of the hospital. Went into respiratory distress. The book talks about the fact that he went to respiratory distress first and was on a ventilator for 5 months, recovered from that.
Look.
Oh, goodness.
It's okay.
It's okay, buddy.
Recovered from that, and then right after we recovered from that, he was diagnosed with leukemia.
Okay.
And, when you are in the hospital, practically living at the hospital,
Yeah.
it's not very uplifting, as you can imagine.
No.
You know what I mean? And especially, so he was on the cardiac floor first. So he's had 2 open heart surgeries.
My goodness.
And, the hardest part about that is, you're with other families that are there. You're in the waiting room with them. You're talking to them. And then, somebody will come out. The doctor will come out and want to talk to them. And then, unfortunately, you hear screaming coming from the hallway. And then you never see that person ever again. So, it's extremely not only are you going through things with your own family, you're going through things with other families. You're watching that happen.
Yeah.
And pretty much the only people that ever come in to visit while we were in the hospital were chaplains, and all they would ever say is, are you mad at God because this is happening?
Yeah.
And my response to that is absolutely not.
Yeah,
I feel
of
very
course.
honored to be Gavin's mother, and I
Yeah.
feel like he chose me and his dad to be our parents, and we're here, to help him on his journey kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so we would like to be a little bit of a bright light, if we can go there and share his story with them and
Yeah.
give books, to families. And it's not a lot, but we would like to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I've known Gavin for probably 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, he's the sweetest kid ever. And he's just so cool. He has so many cool things about him that make him stand out. I mean, I taught you a dance move.
Yeah.
You want to show everybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead, dude. There's not much space, but maybe you can try it.
Do
You want to try
remember
right now?
Do you remember it?
You want to try it? Go for it, big guy.
Here.
I will hold this, yes.
Yeah. Oh, here.
We got to stay right there.
Yep,
so
you gotta
the
stay
camera
right there,
can see
bud.
you.
Yes. That's the one. Nice job, Gavin. There you go, big guy.
So one cool thing, he always does his Friday dances and stuff.
Friday dances,
And
yes.
then they showed me that apparently he took over an assembly and was dancing on the.
I saw that. He did it in front of the entire school.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I can't even do that, dude.
Hey, I know. Gabby is the best way. Anyway.
Oh, he wants to talk about my boyfriend. We're here to talk about you, silly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Talk
is all about
dancing
you,
at
dude.
school. You know what we should tell Tristan? So one thing that made me really touched my heart, because he is obviously very social.
Oh, yeah.
So with the with the COVID lockdown, he wasn't about it. He wanted to still go to school.
Oh,
he
yeah.
still wanted to go. It's where all his friends are. It's where everything's at.
Yeah.
So on Fridays, they still did a Zoom meeting with him to let him do his Friday dances.
I hopped
and
on
stuff.
to one of them,
Yep.
the Moomies Awards.
Yes.
I hopped onto that and watched that, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. That was really nice.
It's awesome that you're still doing that, dude. You got the Friday dance parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's really class.
He's talking about his class.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that he has 3 older siblings.
Okay.
And they, when they were in high school, they saw kids with disabilities get, bullied at their school.
all the
And they
time.
told me before he goes to they all said, we don't even want him to go to high school. We want him, we want you to homeschool him and all this kind of stuff. But before Doherty High School, Gavin went to Sierra High School. He's loved everywhere he goes. I've never had to deal with that with him.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because he's just gonna make you like him.
Yeah.
He's not-
He's literally, he's going to force it on you.
Yeah.
And it's great because
Yeah.
he lights everybody up. I mean, walking down the hallway with him, just taking him to class wherever he was going, nonstop. Hey, Gavin, what's up, dude? And then we'd stop and dance, right? We'd always do something. It took us forever to get to class because everybody wanted to talk to Gavin. And, that shows just how awesome he truly is. And, yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like when I first time I met you was after the Lion King, the play.
Yep.
And his drama teacher's amazing, of course.
Yes, he's by far one of the best teachers I've ever met.
Definitely.
I mean, he's absolutely amazing what he does with those kids and what he does with, other plays and things like that. Truly amazing. He's a great teacher.
Well, before that play started, I'm sitting in the audience and, everybody's filled up around me and they're bringing the kids out. And then when Gavin comes out, like everybody around me was like, oh, there's Gavin. We love him. And I'm almost tearing up like, that's my baby.
Yeah. Your baby's a star.
Yeah. And, and I think, it's funny. So, the first time he had open heart surgery, he was 1.
Wow.
And then, things just went on after that. The first time you were in the hospital for your, the scar that you have right here, you were a little bitty tiny baby when that happened. And so nurses would argue over who would get to take care of him. I mean, like he's favorite from the jump. And so I just think he has just used to, like everyone calls him a politician. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's great, except for when you go somewhere where you're not necessarily supposed to be doing that, because he automatically assumes VIP.
Yeah.
Here we are. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, hey, we're here. You know, and he wants to introduce himself to everybody, and
Yeah.
that's just kind of how he rolls.
Yeah. He's vibrant. What's up?
Wait, my Toby.
Where's his Tori?
Tori.
One of the girls that would help him. She graduated. She wasn't there last year. She was a senior when he was a junior, and he definitely has a connection with her.
I don't know who you're talking about, bud.
Toby is not here.
He does love ladies.
This is
We'll
true.
throw that out there as
he's
well.
a ladies' man.
Yeah, his dad and I, divorced when he was about 2, and it would be, my weekend, and he'd call me and he'd go, "Hey, can I come get Gavin?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" He's like, "Nothing, just want to go to the mall." Wingman helped him. So he's learned how to talk to ladies from a very young age.
It's good, dude.
So
I'm good at talking.
I have pictures. We're at Garden of the Gods hiking, and I'm taking a picture of him. And I'm like, do your thing. And he's like, "Hey, you, come here. I have so many pictures of him next to beautiful women. It's ridiculous. That was at Garden of the Gods.
Dude.
We went to a Rockies game last year. I can't remember who they were playing. I get up to go to get some nachos and run to the gift shop real fast. I come back. He's got one girl on each side of him. They bought him a ball, a hat.
My man. Good job,
Yeah.
dude. That's awesome, bud. You know why? It's because you're such a sweet guy. Yeah.
You are, sweetie.
Hey,
Oh yeah, he likes party blowers.
Oh,
Get the
yeah.
party started.
Okay. He's the life of the party, so he can definitely get one started.
Yeah.
So I do have just a few questions.
Sure.
We'll kind of go and ask. So I mean, the first one, what is Down syndrome?
dry.
It's okay. So Down syndrome is basically a genetic disorder referred to as trisomy 21.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, your chromosomes split, as you grow, and
Yes.
that particular chromosome does not split. They stay together. And so
Okay.
it causes a genetic disorder where you have mental and physical delays.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different severities of it, and, because there's people with Down syndrome that can live and function on their own and have jobs and those kinds of things. But,
Yeah.
He's turning 18 in November, and he functions on, age 4 to 7, just depending on what exactly, we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can't really, be left alone by himself. He's literally set the house on fire once with the microwave, almost a second time a few weeks ago. He just doesn't really, he doesn't really comprehend danger very well.
Okay.
But Down syndrome in itself, it's kind of a full spectrum. So there's a lot of variances.
Yeah. I believe there's 3 types of Down syndrome. Is that correct?
I only know of 2. One is
Okay.
mosaic, which is just it's not as extreme, I guess is the best word, because when he was born, they came in and said, and my screening was negative. And it's just ironic because they tested me when I was pregnant, and they said, "Okay, well, your Downs came back, your screenings came back negative." And I said, "That's strange." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Oh no, I just had a feeling when you told me you were going to test for that it would be positive." And they said, "Why would you say that?" And I said, "I don't know. I've always been good with people that are disabled, and they didn't test for that with my other kids. There's an 8-year difference."
Yeah.
And so we weren't expecting it. So when he was born, we knew he was going to have a heart condition when he was born, but that's all that we were prepared for. So he was born, and his tongue was protruding right away. His eyes were a little bit droopy. His ears were a little bit, down. And so they came in and they said, "We think that your son has Down syndrome." And then we're like, "But the testing was negative, you know?" And they said, "Well, he may have mosaic because he's very active." Like as soon as he came out, he actually grabbed a hold of the nurse's necklace, and they put him on the table, and he grabbed a hold of the oxygen line. And so they actually thought that he had mosaic back then, but it came back that he did have the full.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see.
I know.
What's up, dude?
Hey, mommy said Gavin a lot better.
Yep, you're lots better now, huh?
Lots better, dude.
Yeah.
We're happy for you too. We're really excited that you're around, bud.
Yeah. Hey, Judge.
What's up?
Yo, mommy, wait. Bush. Gavin is, let's see. Oh, mommy, wait. Oh, Judge, wait. Okay, but mommy said sit in hot on a plate.
Oh, he loves to go. We're from Texas, so he loves to go eat at Mexican food restaurants. So he keeps telling me I need to take him to the place so we can eat some chips and hot sauce.
That made me eat mommy too,
He
right?
wants you to go too.
We might be able to do that.
All
All
right.
right. So what are some of his limitations? You kind of explained a little bit of them, but like, what are some of those limitations that he has?
So, limitations are, doesn't really comprehend danger.
Okay.
As in, he's an elopement risk.
Yep.
So an elopement risk means, his middle school lost him during a fire drill. At this school, Kim called me once and she's like, not a big deal, but an aide turned one way and he, bebopped up the stairs.
Yeah, and I think I was the one that found him. When I was working in security, I was like, Gavin, what you doing? He was like, I'm just walking, man.
Yeah.
So firsthand.
Yes. And they always act like when he starts a new school that I am an overreactive parent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the last thing, that I want to say I told you so for is that you lost my child. But I had to, after with all the lockdown and everything, he just got very restless. I had to get ADT installed so it would alert me to which doors, because I'm working from home on my computer. Next thing I know, I hear him out front messing with the trash.
Mm-hmm.
He's here, he's there. And so he has limitations in the sense that, he's going to do what he's going to do when he wants to do it and how he wants to do it. Mm-hmm. And if that's dangerous, not really sinking in too much.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then, when you're going through school, there's IEPs, the individualized, education program.
Yep.
And so we were, I don't know, you work on it through elementary school and junior high, and then always, thinking that there's going to be like a progression into adulthood kind of thing. And he's pretty much, tapped out, in middle school. So according to IEPs, he wouldn't be able to have like a regular job, like the Arby's that I go to, a disabled person works in there. He's awesome. His name is Jason, and he cleans everything, makes sure everybody has what they need. But the problem with him is he'd see something out the door and off he would go. Yeah. So he can't. He's limited to one task. Commands is not the right word, but so like if you say, hey, I need you to do this and I need you to do this, he's able to do the first one but not follow through with the second one. Yeah. Okay. So he has limitations there as well. Mm-hmm. And then academically, second, third, fourth grade level, depending on what we're talking about. He can read really well, and he's a dinosaur expert.
He sure is. So he knows so much about dinosaurs.
He does. We'll go to Jurassic Quest or something like that, and he'll walk up and he'll go, "This is a Pachycephalosaurus," and people are looking at him like, "How did he know that?" But yeah, he knows.
He knows his stuff. He knows a lot. That's awesome, dude.
Hey, a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, we get have family passes to the dinosaur resource up in Woodland Park, and then anytime there's Jurassic Quest or Jurassic Tour or anything like that in town, we got to go.
Have to. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Oh, hey, mommy, dinosaur Rex.
T-Rex.
T-Rex?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
Maybe you.
What's your favorite?
Oh, I got to go with a raptor. Mm-hmm. I love those.
Yeah.
He has a 6-foot raptor in his room, don't you?
Do you really?
He has a book. He's a painter too, so he'll look in his dinosaur book, and I have like a paint pen, so I'll draw the outline of whatever it is, and then he paints it in. So he has several paintings that he's done of his own all over his walls of dinosaurs and stuff.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Are they your favorite thing of all time?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you like?
A big butch.
You like that they have big feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, the T-Rex that dinosaur, his foot's about the size of this couch, huh?
Goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I know you just mommy said a big bird.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, so let's talk about something else real fast. So, talking about limitations. So, the things that they have told me, I did want to touch on this for any parents that are, frustrated, because the one thing about when you have a child with a disability, everybody is going to constantly tell you what they can't do. They're going to put limitations on them.
Yeah.
They can't do this, they can't do that. So, first they told me he wasn't going to live. I said, cool. Well, we'll let him decide that. And we see how that came out. So, in the book, it talks about him being on the ventilator for 5 months. Well, he was intubated and extubated 7 times. And when you look at a scope of his throat, you have cartilage on the side of your throat. And instead of it going straight down, it's kind of broken, but it's encased. So it goes to the side. It's kind of like a zigzag. Yeah. And so, and we thought, to get him off the ventilator, we thought that he was going to have a trach and a G-tube at the same time. Okay. And he kept spiking a fever right before the surgery. Well, they would come and clear out, suction out his tube for the ventilator. And the instructions were to hold his head, because if you didn't, he would try to extubate himself. Okay. Well, one nurse came in and he was talking to somebody else, not paying attention. Gavin leaned down and just yanked. And he's 1 at this time. That's the package to his mask. Take it. But thank you. But so after he did that, he vomited about a 32-ounce cup full of mucus, because he'd been on a ventilator for 5 months, and the doctors looked at me and said, what do you want to do? And I said, this is his last shot, before you put a trach on him. Just let's just see what happens. Yeah. And he ended up being fine. He didn't have to have one, but point being is that at that early age, it partially paralyzed his vocal cords. So it made it to where, obviously, it's very difficult for him to speak. He's very hard to understand. Yeah. So as he was getting older, I started doing sign language with him when he was a baby, because that's good for just all babies, regardless. Yeah, I wish I knew more. I definitely wish I knew more. So he picked up on that really well. And so they had told me that he would never speak, and that he would be mute, and he would always just have to sign, and that's it. But then he started watching Sesame Street. And then he's saying, Elmo, Zoe, Snuffy, Big Bird. So I went to his speech therapist, and I was like, if he's saying words, those are sounds, you can teach him how to break those apart and put them back together and other things. So I'm going to back off of the sign language, and we need to focus on use Sesame Street as a tool to get him talking. And even, as you know, today, he loves... He will put Sesame Street YouTube skits on and do it to the T, exactly what's on the screen. Huh. Exactly. When he was in 1st grade, I had a teacher. That teacher, she was fluent in sign, and she had a deaf child. And when I said, I want more focus, on his vocalization, because if he knew the sign for something, he would refuse to try to say it. Yeah. And she said, if you don't make sure he's fluent in sign language, you'll never be able to communicate with your child. And I said, okay, well, how about if you let us decide that? I appreciate your opinion, but let us decide that. So ironically, 2 years later, when he's in 3rd grade, we're doing a walk to the pizza place, and she's right behind us. And she tapped him on the shoulder. She said, Gavin, look at the big rock. And he goes, yeah, I see the big rock. And I was like, That's great. So, so there's that. They also told me he would never walk. Because he had leukemia. He was diagnosed with leukemia right when he turned 2, and was just it just kind of drags your body down. And so he was in a wheelchair until he was 6. They told me he would never walk, and so the main thing is don't ever believe anybody, when they say that you can't do something, and as we're talking about his limitations, okay, so he can't go have a regular job somewhere. Cool. Well, we have an LLC called Gavin's Grub LLC, he has his own business, and we're in the works of getting that going.
Wow.
So we initially thought it was going to be a food truck, but then maybe switch into a food cart scenario.
Okay.
And then I had the entire menu down, like gourmet wraps and salads and all this stuff. And then he was diagnosed with celiac disease.
Oh my goodness.
So can't really have 12-inch gluten-free tortillas. They're not as pliable as regular. So now we're having to redo the menu and all that. So, yeah, I mean, you see how he works the crowd. He could work a window all day long.
Easily. Well, what I'm getting from this is you are one strong dude. Seriously. I mean, he's gone through a lot of obstacles that many people will never face. And he's doing it with flying colors, with tremendous amount of strength and a lot of heart. And that's awesome to see. And that's kind of like a big reason why we wanted him on the podcast, is because a lot of people, they get down off of one little thing.
Right.
And, leukemia, that could knock you down and push you down for good. He obviously didn't let that affect him.
Right.
Everything he's gone through, it has not affected him. I'm sure he had struggles along the way, you as well. And, on your end, you had to go through it all. You had to listen to everyone say that your son's not going to be able to do this or that, and so that's huge on you as well to be, so strong and so dedicated to Gavin and to both of your lives, because I can't even imagine what it's affected. And yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
But it's unreal, and like I admire it, and it's huge. It makes me have a better perspective on everything that I'm looking at, and perspective is a huge word for me. I have it tattooed right here on my arm. Yeah, it's all it's jumbled, so you can't really tell. Yeah, but that's the whole point of it. Is you got to look at things from a different angle. Right. You got to look at life. Wow, nice one.
Yeah, excuse me.
Excuse you, bud. Yeah, you got to look at every avenue as a different angle. You can take the most negative situation and turn it into a positive. I look at actors and things like that, and like a lot of them had really rough lives. Absolutely. And they turned it into something, like Robert Downey Jr. He was in prison. I don't know his whole story, but I know he was pretty darn low.
I was born in 1975, so I've had a crush on him way before he was Iron Man.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, it's just like the inspiration that someone like him can give, and he doesn't even realize the effect he has on people. Because the moment I met him, I was like, I love this kid. He's great. He's amazing. And to be able to have a smile on your face every single day, every Friday dance party.
That's right.
Beautiful. I mean, it's truly amazing.
So it's interesting that you say that about your perspective tattoo, because I am a firm believer in, you bring about what you talk about. So if all you do is get up and talk about how negative things are, you cannot live a positive lifestyle. You have to speak openly about having a positive lifestyle in order to be positive. It is all about your mindset. Yeah. And, like I said before, I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I'm doing my LPC. And a lot of people, I do... people expect me, to counsel parents of kids with disabilities. But my main thing is, they used to try to push me to join groups. Yeah. And, not to be disrespectful to parents that are having a hard time, but it is your mindset, And so it's like, I can't necessarily sit in a room full of people who are talking negatively about their child. I have 4 kids and so people instinctively will say, oh, you have a child with a disability, that must be so hard. And I'm like, he's my best child. I don't want sorry, my other 3 babies, but he's the most positive. He's never if he's having a bad day, it's because he can't find his strap, his clip, which people with Down syndrome are very firm in what they want to do. They are. That is true. So there is a balance.
He goes.
Yeah. So, it's just really important to stay positive about it. And, my belief, I'm a very spiritual person, and I do believe that he chose, me and his father to be his parents. So we're honored, that knowing that he needs somebody that can stand by him, to do that. And like right now he's transitioning into adulthood. I was talking to a lady the other day, and right now, he gets paid while I work a respite person to watch him.
Yeah.
He can't be left alone for reasons we've already discussed.
Yeah.
And so that goes away when he turns 18. And I said,
geez.
okay. I said, so now I have to make, so I can be his parent caregiver, or which is like a $40 a day,
Yeah.
Yeah. job. And so I said, okay, so I have to make the decision of living on poverty level or leaving my child home alone. And her response to me was, well, that's why we have state homes. Those people are very nice, will take good care of him. And I said, I appreciate that and good for those people. That's not going down with us. You know what I mean? That's one of the main reasons why I did start putting, Gavin's Grub into existence before, because I've got to be able to have him. If I can't leave him alone, I have to be able to make money with him with me.
Yeah, definitely.
But, and to talk about perspective as well. So one time we're in the grocery store a couple years ago, and I mean, you can't get through the store. I mean, he, like, especially with social distancing now, he does not get that.
Yeah.
He wants to hug everybody, shake everybody's hand, no such thing. You already know.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get through the grocery store, and he's literally stopping and talking to everybody along. So we're going down like the back aisle, and I see this lady watching us, down, and we get closer to her, and he's like, hey, he acts like everybody's friend. He's like, hey, and he gives her a hug, and she has tears in her eyes, and she's like, I've been watching y'all. And I said, yeah, I noticed, and she said, well, I have a son that has Down syndrome. And at this time, he was about 14, 15.
Okay.
She said, I have a son that has Down syndrome, and he's almost 3. And it's been weighing pretty heavy on me right now. Like, what's life going to be like? And I said, well, you have to schedule an extra 45 minutes to go to the store because that's how it is. And I remember when he was a baby, his dad and I, we were sitting for a doctor's appointment, and a girl came out. She's probably 7 or 8, and she had Down syndrome, and she literally hugged almost everybody in the room. And we looked at each other, and we're like, I wonder if that's, how our child's going to be. And of course, that doesn't necessarily, go for everybody, but thank goodness, that's how he is, because when you're doing interviews for caseworkers and stuff, they're like, is he violent? Is he this? And I'm like, no, he's overly affectionate.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of violent.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah.
You hear the thunder out there?
Oh, yeah.
What is
Got
it?
some storm.
Big rain.
Yeah.
Hey, just it. Wait. Mommy said, big fire truck.
Oh, he loves some fire trucks too.
I remember that. Every time there was a fire truck in the school parking lot, we had to make sure we went and saw it.
Yeah.
Every time, huh?
It's just a good lot of fire truck in you.
Yeah.
Do you like him too?
I love fire trucks.
He's visited several of the fire stations here, and they're all really, really cool about hanging out with him.
That's awesome, dude.
I know.
I have a dog that usually works for the fire station. She doesn't actually, but
Oh,
she's supposed to.
gosh.
Yeah, the Dalmatian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, just it.
What's up?
What happened in fire truck?
What happened with the fire truck?
What happened with what fire truck?
What happened in Yahweh?
The one at the school?
No, it's a big fire hat in David's house.
Oh, okay, yeah. You just want to you want him to go with you to a firehouse sometime?
Oh, yeah.
We could do that. That would be fun.
Yep.
That'd be really fun, dude.
Yahweh. Fire truck!
And an ambulance. He
And
likes
an
ambulances.
ambulance. You like all those cars, huh?
Yeah.
And police officers.
Yep.
I love an ambulance.
Yeah.
Hey, Mommy said, big name at the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I know. Mommy's so very good.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, they is wonderful. I love her so just say, hey, you, that dream.
So he's got another question for you. Let's see what he has to ask you,
All
okay?
Yeah, I like him.
Okay.
Okay.
You what's up? What's up, dude?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, the name, I like you so much. Mommy's got happy now. And the strap. And you say, No. Long one.
So yeah, so he's had like a dexterity thing ever since he was born. He's had to have something in his hand like this.
Yeah, just kind of like a little fidget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it has evolved.
He's got hangers.
Through his he's got everything. You've seen he's got to have his clips.
Yep.
Everything's got to be balanced out.
Yep.
And so yeah, at work it'll be these four. When we had cats, when we lived in Texas, I'd buy the big tidy cat container.
Yeah.
And the little like part that you
Oh,
rip
like
off,
the-
and most
yeah.
people throw away. He called it Blue, and that was his like best friend. And
Wow.
yeah, don't have cats anymore. We just have Odin, just have a dog. But so I get long 4-foot straps from work or from Home Depot. And he just has me, he'll bring it in and he'll tell me where to cut it. He'll bend it. He'll put the clip on it. He'll come in with scissors and make me cut it down and modify it. And
Wow.
he's got it all. And then it's not as easy. See if he can do it. See how he's doing it like perfect like that. Okay, have him try.
Can I try it?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, already a rough start.
Everybody's
like-
usually like, I can't do that. Like, you could do that.
I can get it for a second.
So Doherty's great, but I have had schools
Yeah,
where
good job.
they've tried to tell me, well, he can't have that. It's disturbing. I'm
Yeah.
like, if he doesn't have that, he picks his fingers until he bleeds. So if that's going to be a problem, I'll homeschool him.
Yeah.
And then of course they backtrack it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody at
Wow.
not any of his teachers, but a different person at Doherty, she did say, well, could you just maybe not make him be so long?
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm sorry. I try to let him have control of how he,
Yeah.
manipulates them.
Yeah, let him do his thing. I mean, it doesn't seem to. It shouldn't bother anybody.
Okay, but hey, just get
What's up, dude?
this one.
He said, guess what?
What?
Okay, mommy said that the bag is taken of a young named Papa. That was last grade.
Yeah, so he's his 4-year-old, 3-year-old niece lives with us, and his brother that's 25. They live in the basement, and his brother has full custody of my granddaughter, and she turns 4 at the end of this month, and so they want to go down and see family first weekend of August.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's ready to go.
Ready to get out of there?
I know. Hey, my auntie,
And Angie, his cousin Angie,
Wow.
I her beautiful dress.
she wears a beautiful dress.
Very
She'll be
cool.
so happy you said that.
Yeah.
Very, very cool, dude.
Hey, my auntie, who said, hi, Daddy, I love you.
Yeah. You're so sweet, dude.
I know. Hey, let me. Who said, hey, auntie, what woman name?
Oh,
Auntie, how?
he left a hanger. So he told her, he had a hanger. And he's like, hey, do you have a different hanger? So she went and got him a different hanger. And he left that original hanger at her house. That was probably 6 or 7 years ago. As soon as he sees her, he's like, I need my hanger back. And she
Goodness.
tells him every time, I don't have that hanger anymore. I'm sorry. He's not letting it go.
Oh man.
I know. Hey, hey, stop it. Hey, Papa, Mama, my daddy back.
Oh, dude, you crack me up.
Hey, obviously, yeah, who is it? Stop it, to the window now.
Wow.
Obviously, yeah, wait, but nay, Papa, said, oh, short.
Yeah, he likes to. Him and his niece have an interesting relationship. She tries to tell him what to do, and then he tries to tell her what to do. And yeah, so the other day, normally she'll say, "Gavin, get me something to eat." And so here's an example of why it's kind of dangerous to leave him home by himself. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. In 2009, I woke up to, it was 2:00 in the morning. I woke up to the fire alarm.
Oh, no.
Sit up. Is that really what I'm hearing? It is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. I opened my bedroom door. We had 8-foot ceilings. The house was built in the 70s. It's already to the top of my head. He comes walking out of the kitchen. Hey, mommy. Goes in his room. Go in there. Flames are coming out of the microwave.
Goodness.
My ex-husband throws the microwave out the door, and yeah, he had put a cup of noodles in the microwave with the plastic and the paper, no water in the microwave.
Oh no.
So, we always had everything out of his reach. So we're thinking, now, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And, he knows how to press the 1 and the 30. There's 2 things that he's allowed to put in the microwave, and that's all he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I hear him in there. This is last month, doing my schoolwork in the living room. I hear Aubrey say, Gavin, will you get me something to eat? He's like, sure, come in here. So normally it's pudding. We're opening a pudding container. Okay. We're getting her some cheese, basic things.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I hear the microwave and I smell burning. I'm like, what is happening? What are you doing? He's like, well, she wanted macaroni and cheese. He got a cup of Velveeta shells and cheese out of the cabinet, opened it, squirted the cheese in there, put it in the microwave, turned the microwave on, no water, no nothing.
Oh, no.
So those are the kinds of things, unfortunately, that, when I say he has to have, one-on supervision, because he just doesn't understand certain things that to most of us, we just take it for granted, wouldn't happen. Those are kind of a big deal.
Have you guys ever done ABA therapy at all? Mm-mm. No. So I know there's that's actually what I do now. I'm an ABA therapist. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we do, forward chaining and backward chaining. So we kind of do step-by-step processes of that. So for that example, the first step would be, opening it up. Mm-hmm. Second step would be water. Make sure you get that water in there.
Right.
And so there's a whole process that we go through and on having them, figure that step-by-step process. Yes. And, it works really well. It takes a lot of time, and pretty much every single time you do it, you are basically doing it for him, but you're making sure that he's paying attention and things like that. So, I just got into it not too long ago. Mike. I'm I think I've been working there for 6 months or so, or close to 6 months. So, I'm fairly new and still learning and things like that. Is it storming out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Hey,
what's up?
A bad crap. Oh, it's a bad truck.
Yeah.
So he's talking about thunder real loud. So it's interesting that you say that, because I say that all the time. If I can program his automatic pilot, he's good to go.
Yeah.
If it's a new task, something, because he normally does not try to make her macaroni and cheese, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time he'd ever tried to do that. So that's interesting that you say that, because that is 100% true. If it's a task that he's done repeatedly, he's right on it. He doesn't skip a beat. Yeah.
And, that's just one of the many, many things that ABA, applies and things like that. So it's really cool. Obviously he's done very well for himself, and from where he started to where, he may not even really need, to go to ABA and things like that, but he's got it down to where, if he can slowly pick up more and more things, because he's improved a lot from since when I just met him 2 years ago, and so it's really cool to see, because ABA, even if you're not doing ABA, ABA applies to everything in life. So it's just whether you're doing the ABA or not.
Okay.
So I'm sure you've done more than, what you would think that you've done, like that we do with our kids at my job. But it's really cool to see, him, he does do sign. I saw him sign for water. I see him, sign for other stuff too. And it's just all those little things is he's come a long way from where he was, which is very cool. What's up, dude?
Okay. Hey, Mommy say, Mommy would, show me that a robbery. Daddy would, I love that.
Yeah. Aubrey likes to participate when we're breaking down the straps.
Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah. I've met her a couple times, I believe, too.
Yeah,
she's awesome as well.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, she is.
He always talks about her too.
Always.
He
loves her.
Uncle, you say, "Oh, thank you, Uncle Gavin."
He said, "I'm a good uncle," and she always says, "Thank you, Uncle Gavin."
Well, what has been the most rewarding over the course of, his entire life? What's been the most rewarding thing that you've seen?
Honestly, I would have to say, for me personally, we don't think of him any different as our other kids.
Yeah, not at all.
His dad and I talked about that in the very beginning. He's the last of 4. And, And we just decided, you know, if his disability comes up, great. Otherwise, you have the same rules as your siblings.
Yeah.
And I can't is not in our vocabulary until you prove that you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, we're going to make you try. So,
that's a great way to, great way to treat, you know, any kid and any person, because you start putting those limitations like we talked about. Now he's going to be like, well, I can't. We have plenty of kids at our work that have these limitations because mom and dad said so. And now they don't want to do it because they're like, I'm not supposed to. But we're like, we know you can do this.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's a huge, awesome parenting job right there, for like just knowing that some parents, you know, do that. They put the limitations on their kid. And it's just like, well, you put it on that kid, and now that kid's never going to want to do it.
Right, exactly. And I think that applies to any human being. You know, if you tell any kid that they can't do something, they'll be like, wow, really? I can't do that? But as far as the best thing, you know, like I said, I am a big believer in spirituality, and I believe that, you know, you should try to give, you know, to people. And just the fact that he is like when we like the lady that I was saying in the grocery store, you know, that's one example of, you know, like I could tell he touched her life in that moment. And then another time, you know, we were at the zoo, and this lady looks at him, and, you know, he starts talking to her and everything. And she is asking me about him, and I said, oh, well, you know, he's a leukemia survivor. Something. She just instantly starts crying, and she's like, you know, my nephew was just diagnosed with leukemia, and, you know, we don't know how to take it. And so it's like, it's really, you know, like a blessing, you know what I mean, for us to be able to go. And that's one of the main reasons why I wrote the book. You know, I do want to. And one thing that we haven't talked about is his father passed away when he was 12.
Goodness.
He actually, 40 years old, healthy. He had bipolar disorder, and wasn't a drinker. The only thing he was ever addicted to was women, as we discussed earlier. So he's a wonderful parent, you know, wonderful dad. We co-parented very well, you know, with each other. And so he wasn't, you know, big in drinking or anything like that. And when you are on a lot of bipolar medication, it specifically says you shouldn't mix with alcohol. Well, he had gotten a job on a Thursday and went out with his brother to celebrate on Friday. And nothing was even overly out of levels. It's just when you have depressants in your system, and then alcohol is another depressant, and he had sleep apnea on top of that, which Gavin has as well. He sleeps with the CPAP machine at night. He literally quit breathing in his sleep.
Oh, goodness.
And they were extremely close.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so we just have all these different stories that, you know, when we go out and meet people, help them, you know what I mean? It seems like in one way or another. And it's like, you know, giving, okay, yeah, you can give money, you can give this, you can give that, but you know, when all you do is kind of show it, you're just doing your regular routine, and you can tell that you actually touched another person's life, like they were needing that. You know what I mean? And that doesn't have anything to do with me. It's all him. You know what I mean? And so I feel very blessed that amazing. We're able to do that. And we got this in paperback the end of February. So obviously we have not been able to visit anywhere to go around and do this. So
do anything.
It'll be nice when we can actually, you know, get out and about and do it, because I just always thought that, you know, if you know, because I would still want to go talk to parents who have, you know, kids that are going through leukemia, but obviously it's a little bit more uplifting that he made it through, and he's, you know,
survivor. He's
with me, and we can be there to talk to him, and hopefully he can put a smile on their face.
I'm sure he can.
Yeah. So,
but you know, that's, you know, I'll put the link out. You can just buy these on Amazon. Right. Yeah. So like, I'll put a link in our description so anybody can go check out the book.
Perfect.
I got 3 of them already. So, it's just amazing that you guys have gone through so much. You know, my dad passed away last December.
Really?
So, you know, I get it. And like, that's the big reason why we are doing this. You know, I didn't even mention my partner, Jared. He's not here.
Hi, Jared.
Sorry, Jared. Totally forgot about you. He's not here. He's dealing with some life situations right now himself. You know, but like, this whole thing started because he had a very, very crazy situation in life occur, and he's lucky to be alive. You know, I'm not going to go in depth on it just because that's his story. But then, you know, on my story, I had lost my dad right around the same time he had had his situation. So, you know, like that was like the buildup of True Life Thoughts Talk. And our big thing was we want to share people's experiences, their life situations, their perspective on everything. You know, how are they going to come out of this?
Right.
You know, one of the second episodes we did a COVID-19 episode, and we wanted to hear about how people were handling it. You know, how are people handling being home 24/7, no contact, nothing, no job, nothing, just literally trying to get by.
Right.
And that's where your mind comes into play, where you can drop low, really, really low, or you can thrive. You can, you know, you can start something like a podcast. You can start your own business. You can start something. So it's just like the mind is huge, and everything that we are trying to do is based on this and that, and you know. So I want to say thank you guys for coming out. We actually have a little bit more time. If Gavin, you want to say anything. I don't think I got through all the questions.
So I will share I will share one thing with you.
Yes.
So before we moved here, and what made me think of it is what you just said, and I wasn't going to mention it until you said we had more time.
For sure.
But so I did real estate for 10 years in Texas, and then when his brother that lives in the basement graduated, I said, listen, because this guy doesn't have to have, as long as he has a strap in YouTube, I mean, he's good to go. He does not ask me for money like my other kids. So I said, you know, as soon as you graduate, I'm moving to Colorado. I am going to focus on writing my books and focus on my psychology degree.
Yeah. Because
when you're in real estate, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take a huge pay cut to, you know, do a psychology degree. So I had kind of put that off. So we moved to Denver, and I was a full-time student and a full-time author trying to get things going. And I had to end up hooking up with a producer in LA for 2 of my books to be scripts. Well, my husband at the time was not down for that. So it's one thing for people to say, oh yeah, I support your dream, until the dream starts coming true. And it's like, but wait a minute. Yes. You're gonna, because I want to intern with a director. I want to do all these things. Yeah. And so he's had a huge problem with that. And so obviously we had to go our separate ways. Yeah. Well, when I called to ask how long it would be to set up care for him, because he can't be left alone. He can't go to a traditional daycare. I mean, you can't even, most places, go to a church and put him at the kids center. You can't go to a fitness center and put him at, you know, he's like a liability, you know, to the insurance. So it limits, you know, a lot of what you can do. And so I called and I was like, you know, how long is it going to take to set up his care? And they told me 90 days. So I left my ex thinking that within 90 days, I would have a place for him to be watched, or someone to watch him where we live, and then I could go work. And it actually took 1.5 years.
Goodness.
And we almost were homeless. And I mean, we went from, because I had money in savings, disappeared real quick when you can't make any money and you're spending all of your savings. So I went from having, you know, I don't even know how high my credit score was, because didn't even matter. You know what I mean? You know, we went to our apartment, they're like, oh, well, we don't need anything from you. And, you know, and I actually counseled clients, you know, on credit repair. I even had a credit repair company for a while, but I taught people how to do it for free. So I didn't want to take their money. So point being is, went from status of, you know, feeling like life is 100% all together to we are literally about to be homeless. Wow. And the only place, and so I subletted a room from some people for 6 months. Well, in that 6-month time period, my credit just tanked. Yeah. Well, in Colorado Springs, if you don't have a 600 credit score or higher, oh well, you know, nothing matters. Yeah. So the only place that we could live was a place. I'm not even going to say the name of it here, but it is known. If you look it up, if you Google it, all day long, it just, you know, pest, you know, infestation, you know, it's just like the building should be, you know, condemned. Yeah. And so, you know, we went from, you know, we went from that to almost nothing. And, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, people live off of the system. Well, we were given $135 a month in food stamps for both of us for a month. So divide that by 2 and divide that by 30. And so that's serious, you know? Yeah. And so point being is, so along with this book, now I have a book also. It's called The Divorce Diet.
All right.
And it talks about how to basically go from you got it all together, you got a good job, your everything, money in the bank, savings, bills are paid, to boom, something like, in my case, divorce, and in other people, case of right now, COVID happens. Yeah, you wanted to go to work, you were told you can't go to work. Now what are you supposed to do? Even if you had money in savings, it's not enough to sustain you for months on end. And then, okay, you get $1,200. Cool, we all got $1,200. Well, we live in Colorado Springs. That doesn't hardly cover one month's rent for people, much less food, much less utilities, much less anything that you need.
Yeah.
And so that hit me pretty hard. And actually, on all my social media, I put up and said, I'll give a free PDF copy of my book, The Divorce Diet, because it talks about how to look at your budgeting skills, like the difference between, because unfortunately a lot of females think they need things that they don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
So when you go into survival mode, big difference between living comfortably and having your mind right, and especially when things like that happen to you, and it's not by your choice.
Yeah.
Not only are you financially devastated, like you just said, you're emotionally devastated as well. And who's going to help you?
Yeah. There's
what I mean?
Yeah, there's not a lot of people out there that are going to help you in any situation like that. And like, it was kind of like what you had mentioned about the respite care. Like when he turns 18,
right,
there's nothing. And that's a huge problem.
Oh yeah.
Because just because you turn 18 doesn't mean you're an adult. That means you can live in as an adult. And they're not looking at it as an applied to your learning, to your style of living, and things like that. And so it's very unfortunate. And that's that's one thing I want to get put out there, is that it is a problem.
It is.
That people are not being taken care of, and that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the world we live in is very dark and very, very negative. It's just trying to find the perspective in that, right? Take all these negatives and find a positive. If we have these negatives in life, but we make something of it into a positive, that's a beautiful thing. Right. So, like we can take, whatever it is and turn it into positive. How are you going to look at that later on? You can look at it like, yeah, it sucked, but now look where it's at. So, I mean, huge. What's up, dude?
Okay, Mommy said, Daddy truck.
Oh yeah, we got a truck. Yeah, so I went from, upper 700 credit score down to a 480 credit score, back up to over a 640 to be able to purchase the home we live in now within a 4-year, period. And that's the thing is, when we were on that level of devastation, I was just thankful that, like in my book, I say, I had $20, to feed us for 2 weeks. So what do? You buy a box of pasta, you buy a can of sauce, and you eat that for 3 days. You buy a loaf of bread, you buy some peanut butter, you eat that,
Yeah.
And then as a parent, you're going, I have his nutrition is important, but what else am I supposed to do? I'm doing the best I can. But the main thing is to, and I'm German and Irish, so it's like I'm very prideful, and just like you can try to kick me down as many times as you want, I'm gonna get back up.
Yeah, that's my big thing is keep going. I got it on my shirt.
Absolutely.
Actually. So like keep going is my big thing, and I totally get it. And that's would you say that's so through the highs and through the lows and everything in between? Is that what motivated you to keep going?
Absolutely. Yeah. And when we didn't even touch on the fact that when he had leukemia in Dallas, I had a family member living with me to take care of him. She couldn't handle it anymore because they told us he would die at home. He was on a central line to his heart. Yeah. TPN fluids only, the only thing keeping him alive, because he couldn't even eat. His body was just so depleted. Yeah. Okay. I was selling houses for a builder. Had a very prominent job, owned my home, owned 2 cars. They told me he didn't qualify for nursing care at home. I asked one person. Here's a big key to everybody. Ask 3 people. Never ask one person something and go with what they say, because they don't always know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
So he had
huge.
a caseworker at Children's Medical Center in Dallas, and I said, hey, I don't have anybody to watch him anymore. Can somebody, does he qualify for in-home nursing care? She told me no. She said the only thing he would qualify for is hospice care if it ever gets to that level. So I had to file bankruptcy. Lost my house. I was able to keep one of my vehicles. We moved back to Amarillo around family. And so the instance I just talked about a second ago is the second time that we've, climbed our way back up. But the key to all of that is keep going. Like you said, it's like, don't let that be a lifestyle. And more importantly, like we said in the very beginning, you can't wake up and talk about how negative, your life is and the day is and have a positive day that day.
Yeah.
So you literally, like, I'm a big believer of make every day count.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm overly abundantly blessed. Magic and miracles happen every day.
Yeah.
So when you wake up expecting to be blessed and you wake up expecting for something magical to happen, it will.
Yeah. I can totally attest to that. Yeah. I mean, it's huge. It's amazing when you put your mind to what you want to believe that it comes true. For a long time, I had like a very negative outlook on life, and I had to turn around because every time I was negative, bad stuff happened.
Absolutely.
But you turn it around and you do little things, it's just all mind. So like every morning when I take a shower, the last 2 minutes, I take a freezing cold shower. It turns my brain, I don't even know what it truly does. It turns my brain around.
Nice.
Makes me like stay awake longer, and I feel better about my full day going forward.
Right.
And so when I do that, it's just like, all right, I'm positive. And whether it actually works or is it's all in my head, it works. So regardless, it works. And so the way I think everyone needs to have like a outlook on life is to find something that's gonna keep that drive in them, keep them going and things like that. And that's why I do ABA, is because these kids, they bring the life out of me. They keep my imagination, as a kid. I don't know how many times I've pretended to play, dinosaurs, Spider-Man. I'm doing that every day of my life at work. And I'm like, wow, I'm a kid. Yeah. And, and it just, dude, dinosaurs all the time, right? Put them up. But, it's just, if we can take anything from this entire podcast, it's obviously we all have different lives. We all live differently. We all have, things that limit us. We all have things that make us excel. Right. We are all our own individual person, and we all should be able to thrive with our own mindset. And it's a beautiful thing because he's proven time and time again that you can tell someone you can't do something and he's going to go, watch me do it. And so it's a beautiful thing. And it's beautiful that you stuck by him and your family and overcame so many obstacles. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more along the way. Oh yeah. But you guys have a great outlook on everything. And, I admire that. It's huge. It's awesome.
I think a lot of people take for granted that people like us wake up happy. And they don't comprehend the fact, like the YouTube video that I was talking about, composition compilations. I specifically say you have to feed yourself positivity every day. You
gotta eat. You gotta grind.
You have to. Yeah. You have to go out of your way to get it and intake it and then roll with it. Yeah. It's
there's a difference between being hungry and thirsty. The hungry will work for it. The thirsty just want it instantly. So be that hungry person in life and just go for it. Do what you got to do to get things done, because that's the hunger in you. That's the driven side of you. So that's awesome. And what was the name of that YouTube again?
Composition Compilations.
Okay, cool.
So Renee Lear, is my author name, and I do have a YouTube channel and it's on there. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tag all that in there.
If you want to tell us a little bit about that video, that'd be perfect. And we'll wrap it up after that.
Yeah, so that video is just talking about, I made it for all his classmates at Doherty High School that were, locked at home and unable to go anywhere and do anything. And like I said, I was born in 75. So when I was a kid, it was the 80s. And so you didn't have social media to guide your thought process.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, and even adults, anybody these days, if you wake up, you grab your phone,
Instantly.
you're inundated with primarily negativity. You know what I mean? So my whole point was, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, typical day, there's a lot of negative things going on, but especially right now, and especially in the beginning. I made it in March, I believe, either March or April, maybe April. But back when we didn't even know what to expect, we didn't know what was going to happen. Nobody in the world had even really got past it yet for us to even have any kind of a time frame. Yeah. And so my point was, put your phone down and just be still and focus, and just like and focus on you, like, be selfish for a minute, like what's going on with you.
It's okay to be selfish.
It's okay to be selfish, because and that's one thing where human beings make a mistake. We look to other people to make us happy, when really every single person is responsible for their own happiness.
Agreed.
So if you wake up expecting another person to give you something, then that makes you a taker, not a giver.
Yep.
So don't do that. Fill yourself up, and then and then teach other people how to fill themselves up, and just stay positive. So that's kind of what that was talking about, is be honest about what's going on inside of you, and figure out a way to express it, because
and there's so many ways to do that. We were discussing it, artwork, lyrics, podcasts. I mean, there's so many ways to let things out and to really, like, allow it to fix your mind into a positive avenue. Right. So that's awesome. I'm going to literally check it out as soon as you guys leave. I'm going to watch that video, and we'll, I think we'll be working together again soon. We'll get some things together, kind of plan something.
That we will.
And we'll go see some fire trucks.
And we've got to take him to eat some Mexican food.
Yeah, I got to get that Mexican food too. Oh, man. All right, Gavin, any last words before we get out of here?
All right.
Tell him thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course, Gavin. Thank you for coming. I'm really happy you were on the show.
I know.
Yeah.
It's best friend Ty.
Best friend Ty?
Mr. Tyler?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Mr. Tyler's going to be real happy he made it onto the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to say anything to Mr. Tyler?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. Hello, Tyler.
Nice. Awesome job, dude. Do you have any final?
I just appreciate, it's hard. You're going to make me cry. It's, like I said, going from having 3 older siblings tell me, and not because they were being, they love him, you know what I mean? He's overly loved, and just wanting to protect him and keep him away from school. It means so much to me. It means so much to me that, you even, invited us here, and that he, touched your life, and like in other, people's lives. And, every school he's ever went to has been great to him. But you guys are, everybody that we've met through Doherty High School has been just so great to him. And he's going to be a senior this year. So,
oh man,
this
senior year.
Anyway, so I appreciate you having us as guests, and because that is what we want to do, is give our message to other people and help people as much as we can.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you guys. I truly appreciate you coming, sharing your story. We'll get that book out there. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. See you next week.